The first message that I want to convey to all the colleagues and students studying in our Nagpur Center is that they should feel that they are an integral part of PIT Mesra. Number two is when we have a main center in Mesra, then why should we have centers in different places? First of all, the intention is to reach out. For example, we do maintain a campus in distant Jaipur, even Noida, Patna, within the state, another center, Deoghar. Now, today, looking back, one may always raise a query as to why did we have so many centers. Actually, we had more. So in the recent past, we have shed a few, and then we are trying to consolidate. Now, the main reason as to why we are having centers in different places is, first of all, we would like to operate in places which is not very close by. That's why we have a center in the Western India, we have a center in Northern India. But in addition, there is one other reason, which is the main compelling reason, at least that's how I would justify having a center in Lalpur, that we would like to concentrate on subject domains which are not necessarily served with full attention within the Mesra campus, the main campus. So the important point to note here is that Lalpur should emerge. Lalpur already is regarded as the main center for business administration and computer applications. But these are the two areas in which Lalpur should excel far above what is present and possible within the Mesra campus. And if situations permit or opportunities emerge, then maybe someday we'll have the entire management section located in Lalpur and not in Mesra anymore. Which means that the culture, the environment, the activities overall will be more conducive for management and computer applications subject domain in Lalpur than in Mesra. On the other hand, Mesra, you can't shift a huge machine or a melting furnace from one place to another. So Mesra will continue to serve the core engineering disciplines. Of course, both the so-called conventional engineering, mechanical, civil, and so on, and as well as electrical, electronics, or similar disciplines, computer science, and so on. But the management and computer applications areas, both BCA, MCA, BBA, MBA, these degree courses will be primarily emphasized in the Lalpur Center. The next part is that I'm very happy and thankful to the organizers that you have planned for a short-term course. Now, this is how we have to reach out. If there are many centers, many educational institutions who are offering courses on MBA or MC and so on, but we have to carve a niche so that people can identify and say that the MBA or MCA program in BIT Mesra is supplemented with certain value additions which are not present elsewhere. And those value additions can come very easily through these short courses. Now, I know practically nothing about the business analytics except the fact that before decision making, you certainly would require a certain amount of exercise to convert data into a decision. Now, any kind of wisdom essentially goes through stages of collecting data, information, and then you analyze and then find out a trend. You possibly come up with a theory, maybe an equation, or maybe some specific directions. Then you say that you have attained certain level of knowledge, and then when you practice the knowledge and keep on supplementing, eventually we declare that so and so, or the center of this subject domain has reached a level of wisdom. Similarly, in business, decision making is a very key part. What to produce, what to market, what not to pursue, what to change, and how to change. So every decision making has to be based on certain logic, and that logic comes from the trend presented before you through the data that we see over a period of time. So, collection of data, analyzing the data, and then transforming that into a decision-making process is is what I understand should be the core of business analytics. And again, I repeat that it's not that it is discovered only yesterday. It is there all along, so long as business strategies were discussed or formulated. I'm sure we all went through similar exercises. Now, you need certain diagnostic tools to see the trend. You need certain analytical tools to analyze aberrations or deviations happening. And you also need a certain decision-making process to describe or prescribe what is the correct measure, what is the correct trend. Now, I mean, we often get also hassle that the cell phone I carry today, I thought that would be that certainly is the top of the shelf, the most advanced tool. And within a few months, if not, I mean, it could be just a few months or at least within a year, you'll see that another version launch. Not necessarily all the time, the technology altogether is very different, and certainly the hardware is not does not change so easily and so fast, but the logic changes. The way you communicate, the way you look at it, or the way something is presented before you, all the time, the new logic actually allows you to design something slightly different. And these are incremental changes which we call innovation. And these innovations always drive the technology from one level to another. And that's what we also should teach our engineering students. We should teach not only the hardware part of it or the design part of it, but also the decision making part of it. And that is where these business analytic concepts are very important today for the industry. These days, when we say a new product, very rarely I see the product is actually entirely new. The product carries certain innovation values, certain new components or new functionalities and so on. But then this is the trend, this is how the trend is. But what is little worrisome is the fact that business minus ethics leads to various practices where individuals are turned into commodities. And that's very worrisome because today we often are very much troubled. First of all, everywhere we go, the first thing anybody across the counter asks you is your cell phone number. And then once you give the cell phone number, you keep get flooded with questions and emails. Maybe their intention is not dishonest, but they certainly trouble you because time is precious and you are into so many activities, so many commitments, and you cannot, and it will say that it will take 1 minute, the survey will take 1 minute, eventually the survey will take 10 minutes or even more. And many times it will actually not go to the conclusion. So you are even more troubled than why did it happen that way or so. See, all these basically have to collect data. And like today everyone says that data is a new oil. It is true to a large extent that we are all the time trying to collect, generate data, and I mean, I'm a hardware engineer, and to me, mining always has been mining of iron ore or coal or something, but today we use data mining. So the concepts are very different. We are into a very different era altogether. So it's very important that we also remain abreast with the changes that's happening around us. And in that respect, we should not only produce competent engineers who are good at synthesis, characterization, testing, design, evaluation, and so on, but they should also be carrying enough competence in decision making. And for that, I think this kind of business analytic models that probably will be talked about will come very handy. So I'm told there are quite a few experts from other institutions who also are going to address, apart from our own colleagues from within the IT system. I'm told also there are a number of attendees from various places, from maybe this very city, Ranchi, or maybe some are coming from outside. We should make sure that they do derive the value for their time and money, whatever they are paying for, not just the registration fee, but also their time. So at the end of the course, I would request the organizers to seek a feedback from the students as to how did they benefit and what would they have liked to learn more from this kind of courses. So this is how we can do it even better. And it's a good practice that we organize such courses during the semester, maybe at the beginning, middle, or somewhere, and then repeat it periodically, not every now and then, but periodically we should try to do that. So for that reason, if required, we may also like to invite experts, more experts from other institutions and other places. And with the digital platform available, I think distance is no longer the main barrier, not the main bottleneck. So we should be able to do well. I think Lalpur is a very happening place right in the heart of the city. Uh, we could we could renovate only the gate. I should also offer a word of apology that I'm physically not able to meet you, be present there for the simple reason that there are certain commitments and priorities which I cannot avoid. So that's why I'm not there, but I'm aware that certain developments have taken place, but that's not enough. In fact, I keep taking an update about the construction activities, renovation activities. It's not happening the way it should have. For that, of course, our officials are not at all responsible, primarily because of uh, the construction companies who are given this task. Uh, but nevertheless, we should make sure that all the pending jobs are completed very soon. Uh, Recently, I also had the opportunity of seeing the Noida campus just or a couple of days ago. There again, I see that we are ready to spend the money. We have been trying for decades, and still things get delayed. And in order that is not acceptable. So we must make sure that all the pending infrastructural development work are completed. Students are not inconvenienced. In fact, we should give more amenities and opportunities to the student than what exists today. There's also one other thing I wanted to mention because I'm talking to my colleagues in Lalpur, that we have this heritage building, and that's also is going to get um, restored. I would say repaired or renovated, basically restored the way it used to be, and this is associated with a very distinguished history of association with none other than Mahatma Gandhi. So there's no, I mean, it will be quite a shame if we cannot restore it to its pristine form. We'll do that. We'll start that process again very soon. So thank you very much, and I wish all the participants a very fruitful interaction and very learning during the next 4 or 5 days of this short-term training. I must thank also not only the organizers, but particularly the invitees, the experts who are going to deliver a special lecture. So thank you all, and all the very best. Thank you.